So what does one do? You have to sit there and go through the 30 seconds of Obama BS or Obama plus pro-Obama BS, and then you wonder, okay, and it could be anywhere. Well, those types of ads are just popping up everywhere, and most of the time they are Obama. Obama, Obama, Obama. We'll be back.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
My name is Ronald Reagan. I have been asked to talk on several subjects that have to do with the problems of the day. Now, back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program. There are many ways in which our government has invaded the precincts of private citizens, the method of earning a living. One of the traditional methods of imposing statism or socialism on a people has been by way of medicine. It's very easy to disguise a medical program as a humanitarian project. Most people are a little reluctant to oppose anything that suggests medical care for people who possibly can't afford it. James Madison, in 1788, speaking to the Virginia Convention, said, "Since the general civilization of mankind, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpations." Now, in our country, under our free enterprise system, we have seen medicine reach the greatest heights that it has in any country in the world. Today, the relationship between patient and doctor in this country is something to be envied any place. The privacy, the care that is given to a person, the right to choose a doctor, the right to go from one doctor to the other. But let's also look from the other side at the freedom the doctor loses. A doctor would be reluctant to say this. Well, like you, I'm only a patient, so I can say it in his behalf. The doctor begins to lose freedoms. It's like telling a lie, and one leads to another. First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients. They're equally divided among the various doctors by the government. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town, and the government has to say to him, you can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else. And from here, it's only a short step to dictating where he will go. This is a freedom that I wonder whether any of us have the right to take from any human being. Take it into your own occupation or that of your husband. All of us can see what happens once you establish the precedent that the government can determine a man's working place and his working methods, determine his employment. From here, it's a short step to all the rest of socialism, to determining his pay. And pretty soon, your son won't decide when he's in school where he will go or what he will do for a living. He will wait for the government to tell him where he will go to work and what he will do. In this country of ours took place the greatest revolution that has ever taken place in the world's history, the only true revolution. Every other revolution simply exchanged one set of rulers for another. But here, for the first time in all the thousands of years of man's relation to man, a little group of men, the Founding Fathers, for the first time, established the idea that you and I had within ourselves the God-given right and ability to determine our own destiny. This freedom was built into our government with safeguards. We talk democracy today, and strangely we let democracy begin to assume the aspect of majority rule is all that is needed. Well, majority rule is a fine aspect of democracy, provided there are guarantees written in to our government concerning the rights of the individual and of the minorities. What can we do about this? Well, you and I can do a great deal. We can write to our congressmen, to our senators. We can say right now that we want no further encroachment on these individual liberties and freedoms. And at the moment, the key issue is we do not want socialized medicine. If you don't, this program, I promise you, will pass just as surely as the sun will come up tomorrow. And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country. Until, one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Yes, you are listening to The Rod Eccles Show. I am your host, the ever-lovable L. Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show. Still learning a few tricks and tricks of the trade here on the new Spreaker system. I hope you paid attention to what Bill Clinton said. Or, excuse me, what President Ronald Reagan said. Now, I know I got Bill Clinton on the mind right now because I'm about to bring up something that good old Billy Boy has said about Romney. Now, what Ronald Reagan said is absolutely the full, unadulterated truth, and we all know this, at least those of us who believe in the right of humanity to do and relate to one another as they see fit within the confines and guarantees of both those liberties given unto us by God himself and protected by the Constitution. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, that means that we believe that government does not have the right to tell us what kind of health insurance we must have simply because we are alive. No. Government should not be allowed. We shouldn't allow. Yes, I know that they passed it. But we, the people, do people forget? I know some people are going to call me not a revolutionary, but an instigator. And some might even say, oh, Rod, you're a domestic terrorist. No. I firmly believe that there is no way in hell that the American people should allow our government to do what it did in healthcare. We should all just stand up and say, no. We, the people, have the power. Plain and simple. You work for us. We do not work for you. You don't have the right to tell us to do certain things like that are personal, that do not affect others. And I don't care what liberals say. Me not having their kind of health insurance does not affect anybody else. It affects only me. It isn't even to the point, you can't even say, well, there's residual effect. Maybe you can say there's residual effect from secondhand smoke when it comes to cigarette smoking, but you can't even come anywhere near equating that with forcing me to have some sort of health insurance plan that I do not want nor wish to pay for. See, that's the other thing. That is the main issue. Not only am I forced to buy something I don't want, I got to pay for it out of my own pocket. And if I can afford to pay for it out of my own pocket, it means I'm a taxpayer. And I'm going to be forced to pay for somebody else who can't pay the premiums. So who's getting screwed here? Ah, yes. The ever-loving taxpayer, because everybody thinks that they are rich. Rich. Who's rich? Are you rich? I'm not rich. I know some people think that I am. Well, Rod, you on the air? You got computers at home? You know, you pay taxes. Yeah. Does that mean you rich? No. I'm one of that 51%. And I am trying to make I'm trying to become even more successful. But you know what's eventually going to happen? Let me tell you how this works. Because some people still do not understand business. There are still some people out there, under the sound of my voice, that believe the whole purpose for business is to employ people. No. I don't care if you're a for-profit or a non-profit or some combination of that. Your whole existence as a business is for profit. Rod, non-profit means non-profit. They don't make a profit. No, BS. They have to make a profit. They have to bring in more money than it costs them going out. I don't know any nonprofit that from January 1 to December 31 pays out 100% that they bring in. I mean, Goodwill is a nonprofit, but they've got to make a profit in order to stay in business. So every business, their business sole reason is to make a profit, because with those profits, they are able to do with whatever they want to do with them. For a nonprofit, it's distribute those profits to charities or to be charitable themselves. For a for-profit company, it is to distribute the profits to the investors or the shareholders or the owners, who in turn reinvest some of those profits, all of them, back into the company so they can do what? I don't know, expand and hire more people to help them make more profit. The whole point is, without profit, for any reason, there is no business. There is no enterprise. Unless you're government, it doesn't last very long. And if you have people that work for you and you're not making a profit, at some point you're not going to have any money to pay them. So people get laid off. The only reason a business hires an employee is because they believe that employee will make them more profit. So if a mom and pop, let's just say, the pizza shop down the street. Now, mom and pop open the pizza shop, and it's just the two of them. But it's just the two of them, so they can't be open, 16 hours a day. They can only be open 12 hours a day. So more and more people are starting to, they open this pizza shop. More and more people are starting to figure out that this new pizza store is here, and they like the pizza. So now they're saying, hey, do you have delivery? Because, we'd probably order from you twice a week if we had delivery instead of once a week. Well, mom and pop can't deliver the pizza. They can't leave the store. They've got to stay there and make the pizza. So what do? You know what? Okay. Let's hire a driver, a delivery person. So they hire a delivery person. Let's just say they pay that delivery person, I don't know, $10,000 a year. Plus tips. So the tips come from the customer. So they pay this delivery guy $10,000 a year. Now, what they expect from the delivery guy is that if they hired this guy for $10,000 a year, they expect to make $20,000 a year. So in other words, they're going to increase sales by $20,000. So there'll be and I'm just going to use raw numbers here, right? Because it's not going to actually be a $10,000 profit, because there's also other costs and stuff involved in there, but we're not going to go into depth on that. So let's just keep simple. It costs them $10,000 a year to hire this employee. The employee goes out and it doesn't sell, but delivers pizza. So the mom and pop can now increase sales by $20,000 a year. So having that $10,000 a year employee help the mom and pop shop earn an extra $10,000 a